y'all. This is your girl Steph, and I'm back with another episode of the Parental Guidance Podcast. I've been going for a little bit on and off. There has been a lot going on in life. Right now, I'm actually almost 3 weeks post op. I had ankle surgery, so that's why I haven't really been recording or anything like that. Really just been resting and focusing on my healing, which actually brings me to the topic of today. So, over the past, I wouldn't say over the past 2 weeks, but during my first week after surgery, I had a hard time after a few days because this is my third surgery since 2020. And this one, I don't know, yes, I was going through things before, and yes, I was healing, before and dealing with life, etc. But this time was very different. One, I don't like staying in the house for too long, days wise, because if I don't get sunlight and air, I just start to feel sick in a way, like I don't feel like myself. But after a few days, I realized something, and I just broke down and cried almost the entire day on and off. I remember exactly what day it was. It's in my journal, but I cried because I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm a good person. I feel like I'm a great person to others and things like that. But I feel like some people aren't great to me as I am to them. So that always bothers me. But I had initially listened to the audio of the Four Agreements. But because I remember that day exactly, I was making products and I put it on to listen to. But because I was making products, I wasn't really taking in what I needed to, right? So what happened was, when I was working with my life coach, Phyla, who I absolutely love her work and her in general, I was on a session with her and a few other women, and we were talking about, relationships and thing. And one of the women, her name is Amaka. I feel like a connection to her every time we speak. She is the older version of me. But she was like, girl, you need to read the Four Agreements. And I read it before. I mean, I listened to it before, like I said, but I didn't take in what I needed to all the way. So, when I read it, I read the first two chapters, I believe, and the first chapter tells you you need to break the agreements that were made by you and others on your behalf that are not good. And ultimately, we always think about, how much words have power, right? And I was never really taught this at a young age. I remember vividly, my childhood, but I don't remember being taught this. Words are very powerful. What you speak will manifest, There is power of life and death in a tongue. something like that. Sorry, I can't really remember, but something like that. But so as I was reading it, I'm just like, yo, people have said some really like cruel things about me um in my past. People have called me crazy, um, fat, like I can't say the word, but just these other few words, but just like some really unsettling things to me. I was bullied as well, like as a kid, like somebody who I thought was my friend. Um, and just thinking back on it, I'm just like, yo, like those people really said some harsh things to me, and it sat with me for most of my life, and I never really like forgave myself of just like, oh, don't take it personal. And that's one of the agreements, like, oh, people just are mean because they're projecting whatever they feel on themselves, right? But it said that, and then it said like you have to forgive yourself, right? That's something I never really did, was forgive myself. um I always like forgave others, and I actually posted something on my Facebook and the group that I'm in with the women from the um with my life coach, Sacred Self Queen. And I just expressed like, I never forgave myself. We're so quick to forgive others for what they have done to us, but we're never quick to forgive ourselves what we have done to ourselves, of like believing certain things that people have said about us that weren't true, and just putting ourselves in certain situations that did not benefit us, and actually cause more harm to us mentally and emotionally more than physically. We never really like, oh snap, like, I did this, I put myself in this space, but I never talked to myself like, oh, let me forgive myself for this. Like, we don't always do that, and that's something that needs to be done, and not just as an adult, but your children need to do that as well. You need to show that to your children and explain to them what impact that has on your life and how it can ultimately heal you. Like, children need healing as well. Like, my daughter has been through a lot, from when she was small, because of the dynamic that she was in with me and her dad, that relationship and things like that. And it really just made me think very hard about it. Made me dig deep, like really, really deep, um about what it is that needs to be done for me to get to where I want to go in a mental and emotional capacity. Because at the same time, like, it's just crazy how you carry so much from your childhood to adulthood. And I explain this to my daughter all the time. The decisions that you make as a child, the things you do as a child will set you up for your adulthood. I tell her this all the time, like, you may think this is far, but it's not. So you should start thinking about this, because you don't want to get to this point and be here and be in a position you don't want to be in. So I really try to like instill that in her, but kids are kids, teenagers are teenagers. They don't always get it. I just pray about it, about her, and ask God to just show her, or just give her direction, etc. But yeah, like, your children need to do that as well. Like, your children should forgive themselves as well, for the things that they feel like they have not done so well, like for themselves, emotionally and mentally, because they go through things too. And with what happened to me, like I was literally um in bed. After I read this, I was in bed and I said, I need to forgive myself. I need to break agreements on my behalf, made, well, not really on my behalf, but agreements that were made by me and made by others on my behalf, and agreements that were made by my daughter and by other people on her behalf, because she doesn't fully understand it. So as a parent, I want to step in and do that. And I was in bed just like, I forgive myself for not giving myself grace. I forgive myself for thinking that I wasn't enough, thinking that, I was not the typical look for society or whatever. And I forgive myself for not sticking to my word when I said I'm going to do something for me. Not sticking to my word on just communicating my needs, forgiving myself for putting myself in situations that hurt me, or forgiving myself for going back to situations that continuously hurt me time and time again, but because I wanted something, I had hope for, like, just say like a relationship with somebody. I had hope for that relationship because I always see the good in people, the potential. I forgive myself for that, right? So I just was laying in bed in the dark and just praying and then forgiving myself and breaking agreements, and I kid you not, I said, God, please heal me and my daughter as we sleep. Like, sit on our bedside, like send Jesus to our bedsides and let him just put his hands over us and heal us from head to toe, because we need that. And I kid you not, I woke up the next day and I felt so good. Like, I felt healed. I felt like Jesus really came, and listened to me, and he came to our bedsides and he healed us. I felt it. From that day, and this was last week, I've just been in such a good space mentally and emotionally. Like, I'm a crybaby naturally. Like, I'm very empathetic. So, I can, I have a strong, strong sense of, like, the way somebody may feel or situation. So, like, I can just look at somebody, especially if I know you, and I can just tell something's off. I can just tell when somebody's battling something internally. And sometimes, depending on how strong I get a sense of how the person's feeling, I'll end up crying. Like, I don't know, like, not say I don't know, but that is a gift from God. And sometimes I do hate it, because I'm like, yo, why do I always have to cry? Or why do I feel this way? I have to protect myself so much from listening to what people say to me. And I have to be careful what I read online and things like that, because I'm so empathetic, and it can put me in a dark place if the person that's um releasing whatever is going on me, depending on what they're going through, and they're telling me, I can get in a dark place. So I'm very careful with protecting myself, protecting my spirit, my energy, my mental, my emotional state. And um it is it's a gift, but I do feel like sometimes I don't want it, because it can be a lot on me. But I'm grateful to God to have that gift, because a lot of people are not empathetic these days. But I felt great though. Like, I feel like a new person. I feel like a new person. Um, and the book, I really, 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 really suggest that people read that, even if you're a teenager, like, or a child, because it's very important to understand these things. And you can read it with your kids, like, honestly, and you can explain, like, whatever it is that needs to be explained if they don't understand something. But it tells you, like, to be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally, and to do your best. Like, those are the three that really, really, like, hit home for me. Especially being impeccable with your word. Because I'll say I'll do something, um, but at the same time, I don't feel like doing that, right? And yes, you do want to give yourself grace, but you also need to, like, do what you say you're gonna do. You feel me? Because only you are in control. Besides God, only you are in control of what happens in your life from your decisions, right? You're in control of that. As far as, like, picking a career, or going to school, or things like that, like being in friendships and relationships with people, you are in control of that, because you have to make the decision whether you want to accept that relationship and be in that relationship, or go to school, whatever the case may be. It also says, like, to not make assumptions. That's something that I used to do. Like, I used to be in my head a lot, and I noticed that when a negative thought comes to mind, quickly my brain is like, yeah, nah, we're not doing that. That's why I feel like, yo, God really, like, somebody, not somebody, but God, Jesus came and really sat next to me and was like, yeah, we about to heal you from head to toe, like, for real. Because how quickly my thoughts change from, like, negative to, like, yeah, we're not doing it, right? So that's something that I'm really grateful for, and it just will, like, I try to stick by it as best as possible each and every day. And when my body is like, I'm tired, depending on how tired I really am, you have to discern your tiredness too, because sometimes your body just like, nah, I'm not with it, on some lazy, like, I'm not with it. But if you really can just, like, for instance, oh, I'm gonna read this whole chapter tonight in this book, right? And your body is just like, nah, we're not doing that. I'll force myself to do it, right? Because I really do want to stick to my word. I really want to make progress, and things like that. So it also is like, you should be teaching your kids these principles as well, like I said, because make sure it's not for other people, right? First, it's not like, you have to first take care of yourself, right? So being impeccable with your word is for you, right? What you decide you want to do. I want to go to law school. Do I really desire, to go to law school? Yes, I do desire to go to law school. Okay, boom. I'm going to enroll in law school. I'm gonna do what I have to do to get along. That's being impeccable with your word, saying you said you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it, and you did it, right? And that's something to live by. Like, just alone, that one is something to live by. And not taking things personally. I used to do that a lot. Sometimes I wouldn't, sometimes I would. But as I went through what I went through, um, and my relationships and just interactions with people, I'm sensitive. So some things, yeah, I'm gonna take personal, right? Yeah, I'm gonna take personal. But especially with dating, like I'd just be like I'm gonna be open and transparent. It's just like, yo, why did this happen? Like, why can't this person just be authentic? Why can't this person just be for real with me? Why can't this person just, like, what did I do? That was me. What did I do? Like, I don't understand. And I will always try to understand because that's how I think, right? I think very deeply to understand things. Like, I'm like, yo, you know, what piece of information is going to help me to understand why this happened or how to do something. That's just how I am, like that's how I think. Very particular. And for me, with the don't take anything personally, is literally like, yo, if somebody, like I said, for dating, for instance, if the person is not giving what needs to be giving for you and what you want, yo, you really gotta not take that personal, because that is them. Especially if they're older. Like, I prefer older men. I'm not gonna lie, like I really do. Not old men, but older men. As far as, like, I'm 31. If you're 35, 36, or 33, 34, or whatever, I'm cool with that. You feel me? But um, it came to a point where I just had to, like, be like, yo, that's just them. And not that I'm trying to change anybody or nothing like that, but it's like, you give out this, like, stigma that, or this persona of, like, you're a good person, you're attentive, you communicate well, etc., etc. You actually want to take this somewhere, you have intention, but then it's like, I'm confused, because after a while it's just like you're not the same person. And it's like pulling teeth, and I don't like that. And that's why I'm quick to, like, block, delete, and go about my business. And I try to not do that so much anymore because um I want to give people a chance, right? Because, like, there's a few of my friends, but one in particular, Joey, like, we'll have conversations and he's like, yo, you just be, like, blocking left and right. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't see you going nowhere, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. And he was like, yo, like, I don't give people a chance or whatever sometimes. And he's like, it's either you're in, or all the way in, or you're all the way out, or whatever. So, I just want to give people a chance, but just not taking things personally, and knowing that people are people, and people don't do things necessarily because of you. Sometimes they do things because of them, and that's how they are. Um, but the book ended perfectly with saying, make sure you always do your best. Don't be too hard on yourself, but make sure you do your best, right? Do your best to finish that task. Do your best to clean, when you're tired. Do your best to take care of yourself and your kids, or do your best to, you know, put in effort in the things you want to do. Do your best. That is really just it. Do your best. Do your best to follow the other three agreements. Do your best. That is all you have to do, is do your best. And at times I did not give myself grace. I was very hard on myself. Like, damn, I didn't do this, or damn, um, because of this is because I'm in this situation, or whatever the case may be. Like, yes, there's cause and effect, but I'm one of the hardest people on myself. I do not like to feel like I failed. or I'm not doing enough. And I've felt like that plenty of times, even in my business. Like, I'm literally piecing my life back together since I had my first surgery in 2020, February 2020. But it's something that, needs to be done, and your children need to learn these principles. Like, they really do. And you may think they're not going to get it, but if you explain to them, you show them, and you live by those principles, they will get it. And we need to teach our children, because they are next, they are the next generation. And I just feel like, because I did that my daughter will be able to do that. Because I did that, the little girl in me is happy. The teenage girl in me is happy. The woman before now is happy, because it's like, finally we have forgiven ourselves of the things that happened and the things that we put ourselves in. It's like, finally I can be in this place of complete peace and be good to myself and be all that God has made me to be. It's like the army says, be all that you can be. Like, literally I can be all that God has made me to be, because everything that I need in this season, I have it. It's just my duty to put all the skills and everything that I have in me towards everything that I want to accomplish. And it may seem hard, but a little at a time, a little day by day, will help you make progress. I'm not going to sit here and be mad at myself for not doing this. I'm not going to be mad at myself for not taking things more seriously, I guess, or just doing certain things. Like, my business is my baby, and like, sometimes I will be mad at myself for not doing certain things, and it's just like, yo, I'm not used to this, so it's me having to, unlearn and relearn and adjust myself all the time to be better at being an entrepreneur, being a mom, and being a partner to myself. You have to just give yourself time. I will always be like, yo, I'm not consistent, but I was consistent the whole time. Whether I was consistent in something good or bad, I was consistent, right? So I was consistent. And I used to be like, oh, I don't have healthy relationships, right? But I do have healthy relationships, and I did have healthy relationships because they were there. I was just stuck in my own head as what I thought or what I wanted something to look like, but it was all there. Like, that's our problem too. Sometimes we think we don't have that, but it's there. But I'm gonna end this. I'll be back with another episode soon. Just be patient with me. I'm still recovering. I'm not even off crutches yet, and I am going to get back to creating. And I feel like, no, I don't feel like, I know for a fact that my life is about to flourish something unimaginable, because I just feel like that was the missing puzzle piece to this season that I've been in. It was the missing puzzle piece. Like, I really feel like that. That was the last puzzle piece of the jigsaw puzzle for this season. And I needed that to move forward. And I'm so glad that God put that on my heart to do. So, just to recap, Be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. And teach your kids these principles and live by these principles so they can see the example, right? And the 4 agreements, I mean, some people don't have money to buy books, so you can go on, I think it's called 3LIB, like lib, sorry, 3LIB, like library, LIB, 3LIB.net. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's 3LIB.net, where you can get thousands of free books right at your fingertips. You can download them. If you sign up, because there's a limit too. Like if you don't sign up, like subscribe, there's a limit. You can't download that many books at one time. But if you sign up, you can download 10 books, I believe, a day. Child, I done downloaded so many books, is ridiculous. But definitely do that and teach your kids and just be loving to each other. The world is not at its best right now, and just take each day like it's your last, really. But I love you guys, whoever is listening. I hope that this helped you, and I hope that you're encouraged, and I hope that you will be able to forgive yourself and break the agreements that need to be broken in order for you to move forward, because it's very important. And if no one has told you today, I love you. Like I said, I love you, and I pray that God sends you everything you need for the season that you're in. And I wish nothing but goodness on you and your family. So, thank you for listening to this episode of the Parental Guidance Podcast, y'all. I'm kind of tired. Parental Guidance Podcast. And I thank you, love you, and wish you peace. Have a great day.